What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It is Wednesday. It is May 8th. We are back with another video. If you've never been here before, if you find this video helpful and useful, clicking the like on the video, clicking on the ads helps out this channel immensely. Everyone has helped this channel unbelievably in the past just couple of months, and I want to continue that. So if you find it helpful, please let us know. If you need a little bit more help, so what we do, or over like other DFS channels, we go through every single game. So we're going to cover all 15 games. We're going to look at the pitchers. We're going to look at the bats in there. Then I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're going to look at some of the BVP because some people have been asking about BVP. We're going to look at the ballpark rankings, the odds as well. And towards the end of the video, during the video, we run simulations. And towards the end of the video, we're going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. We're also going to give you some of the stacks we like for the day as well. So we're going to cover it all. And we have giveaways every single day, and you can win them every single day. You just have to come back. You have to follow the rules with the giveaways, and you have to have some fun. So here's how we go. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes, someone will win a free week of FTA+. If this video gets 100 likes, someone will win a free month. 150 likes, someone will win a $200 free year. And if this video gets 200 or more likes, someone will win a $500 lifetime pass. The second way, leave a comment and like the video telling me who you think is going to hit a home run and what inning they're going to hit it in. You get those correct, take a screenshot and send it to me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up for a free week. I did see a comment yesterday or the day before that they had to turn the video off because that is an impossibility. No one can get that. And like, there's a whole video. This is just the first part. We've had multiple people win. It's not hard. It's not easy. I'm not just handing it to you. So there are 2 giveaways and you can win both of them. So that counts as your comment as well. So get those in there, and we can rock and roll there. So we're going to see who the winner of yesterday's video is. So yesterday's video ended up with, let's see, 39 comments, 86 likes. So someone is going to win a free week of FTA Plus right now. So that includes a week of MLB, NASCAR, PGA. We're going to discontinue NBA for the year, and we are going to bring back MMA. So we're going to have MMA this week, and we're going to see how you guys like that as well. So we're going to have simulations with MMA. We're going to have lineups. We're going to have a cheat sheet. We're going to have it there. I'm not going to have a video because I will murder the names, and it'll be an unbearable video, but I will try my best. So this is obviously FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Let's take a look at who the winner is. Drum roll, please. And you can win every day, like I said. We've had multiple people win multiple times. The winner is JKB1026. Still watching. Let's go. Keep up the great work. That is awesome. Thank you for continuing your support. Once you see this, like this video, and then email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, with a username and email you would like on the website, and we will get you set up for your free week. Or if you already have one on the website, let me know your username. So, congratulations, JKB1026. Also, in the description of this video is this article for today. So if you don't like a huge video and you just want a simplified breakdown of plays at each position, that is there. We have our link to our Discord, so we go back and forth. We give out core plays. We give out everything over there. We questions, props, everything. Go check that out as well. So let's jump into what we've got going on. So we're just looking at the MLB odds right now. We're looking at, obviously, the Giants at the Rockies. 5.48 implied runs is the most. Dodgers is second, 5.05. We got Braves versus Nick Pivetta, 5 runs, and so on and so forth. So I'm actually surprised the Yankees are down at 4.69. The Astros are very bad this year. They just put up 10 runs yesterday against Verlander and the bullpen, and now they have a matchup here against Spencer Spaghetti. So we'll look at him. We'll look at all of this. These are on the website. If you go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, MLB tab, you can find all of that down below. So go check out the website. Go check out the article. It is in the link in the description of this video. And then you got the ballpark rankings. You can go through how many games have been played at these stadiums, how many run totals, if you want to go with that, to see, the ballparks to target in this either early or main. So, for whatever reason, we have a really large 8-game early slate today. Normally, usually Thursdays are the day where the slates are split. I think it's just because it's early in the season that we're seeing this for early. So I'm very surprised, but we are going to break down every single game. So let's take a look at all of the games and what we like. So looking at the first one, Angels at the Pirates, you got Jose Soriano versus Martin Perez. Perez, 69 plate appearances, 311 batting average. So we look at that, and that could be just a couple of batters, or that could be a lot of people. We look at that. Taylor Ward, 5 for 13. That's 385. You got Kevin Pillar, 6 for 11 with a double and home run. Pillar would be a cheap option here for the Angels if you're going with a stack. Luis Rengifo, he's been ill. I think the flu the past couple of days. Should be back today. He would be an option. Joe Adell's 2 for 7 with a double. You've got Brandon Drury, 1 for 6 with a double. So not a ton, but I mean, you could look at a Ward, Pillar, Rengifo mini stack that I don't think a lot of people are going to be on. But we look at that, and we come here, and we come down to Perez at 7,200, 3.15 ERA. Colorado was a good matchup for him. 5.1 innings, 9.2 fantasy points. So he's had a couple of good games, Detroit and San Francisco, and he's had some bad games against the Mets, against Boston, against Colorado, against Miami. I wouldn't trust Martin Perez. If early, I kind of, and you can see both ways, but I'd kind of lean more towards the Angels as a stack here, the 3 batters that I mentioned. But again, it's the Angels, and they're not that good. Martin Perez for tournaments, I'm okay with, but I'm probably siding with Soriano, or with the Angels. And then we can look at Soriano, 7,000, 3.77 ERA, coming off a good game against Cleveland, 6 innings there. Minnesota, he did not do well. Did really well at Cincy. Did pretty good against Tampa Bay. And then a few bad starts in between. I think both of these pitchers are tournament pitchers. If I were to take pitching, I would look at Soriano and the Angels bats a little bit more than I do like Perez. But if we are looking at Pittsburgh bats against them, O'Neill Cruz, Rowdy Tellez, McCutchen, Brian Reynolds, Sawinski, I would look at. If you don't want to pay for some of these, Grandal you could look at, Jared Triolo you could look at, Michael A. Taylor. I do like Michael A. Taylor more against lefties, so use that information how you will. But that's kind of my thought process in this first game. Next game, Blue Jays at the Phillies. You got Chris Bassett versus Aaron Nola. Bassett, 90 plate appearances, 267. Nola, 72 plate appearances, 297. Now, and I've told you before, I will let you know if I'm wrong, and I was wrong yesterday. Jose Barrios, I loved him. He got absolutely demolished against this Philly team. I don't really like Chris Bassett. We could dig into the numbers a little bit. So you got Bassett down here at 7,100. He's got a 5.45 ERA, 2-5 record, 34 Ks. Against Kansas City, he did okay, 11.9. Against the Dodgers, 2.2 innings, 7 earned runs. I could honestly see this Philly team putting up the kind of numbers that the Dodgers put up against Chris Bassett. Normally, he's a strikeout dude, ground ball guy. 10 ground balls against Kansas City, and that was the most he tied with Tampa Bay. Has not faced Philly this year. Splits-wise, we look at that. Home games, he's 4.99. Away games, he's got a 6.14 ERA. I do not like Chris Bassett. I do like the Phillies. Schwarber, Harper, Real Muto. These guys are the ones I'm looking at. Alec Boehm did not play yesterday. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he was sick, but he just did not play. If he is in there, I love that as a stack. I do not trust Bassett. And then we can look at Aaron Nola, 9,600, 3.32 ERA, 40 Ks. Didn't have it against San Francisco. 4 innings in that game, 2 earned runs, 89 pitches in 4 innings. Had a fantastic game at San Diego. Good game against the White Sox, Colorado. He's been pretty decent. This Toronto team can hit when they're on. If I am looking at this game, I'm looking at the Philly bats, and I'm looking at Nola. Toronto bats, none jump out to me right now. If they do, we will look at them with the simulations at the end of the video. So I would rather go with Nola and the Philly bats over Bassett and Toronto bats. Tigers at the Guardians, you got Reese Olson versus Tanner Bibby. Olson's never faced the Cleveland Guardians before. Tanner Bibby, 28 plate appearances, 375. So basically one start, which we're going to see, like Torkelson 1 for 2, that's 500. 2 for 6, 333. 1 for 2, 2 for 4, 500, 500. That's why the numbers are jumped up there. No one's hit a home run. No one's hit a triple. We have 2 doubles, Torque and Riley Green. So that's kind of when we look at stuff, that's why I tell you don't just go off the initial numbers, because 375 looks terrible. But yeah, half the guys have 1 for 2, which is 500, which jumps up that price immensely there. So we look at this. We got Tanner Bibby here at 8,400, 446 ERA, so a little bit up there. I will admit we used Tanner Bibby against the Angels his last start. 5 innings, 6 earned runs, 4 Ks, 1.9 fantasy points. Not good enough. Now he has a game against Detroit. He has not faced them this year. He is pitching at home where he does have a 7.8 ERA. I really don't like either of these pitchers. Probably not going to use either of them. I would look at the bats in this game. The bats that I would look at for Detroit, Riley Green, Matt Vierling. I would look at Torkelson a little bit. Mark Canha I usually like against lefties, but I'm okay with him in this lineup here. Guardians, Josh Naylor, another home run yesterday, on fire right now. Bo Naylor, I would use Jose Ramirez. Cheap options would be Estevan Florial, maybe a little bit. Tyler Freeman, Will Brennan, if you want to round out that Guardian stack there. But if you are going with any Guardians bats, Naylor and Ramirez would be the 2 that I would start with. If you don't want any more than that, those would be the 2 that I go with. Reese Olson, on the other hand, 7,500, 270 ERAs, looked great, 0-4 record. It's been pretty damn good. Obviously has not faced Cleveland this year. Pitching away, he's got a 3.6 ERA, but 2 extra games there and 7 extra innings. So you could go Olsen for tournaments, but I'd rather look at the couple of Cleveland bats over this and not focus on these bats here. You got the Mets at the Cardinals. You got Jose Quintana versus Sonny Gray. Quintana, 100 plate appearances, 228. Sonny Gray, 129 plate appearances, 248. Sonny Gray's been everything that the Cardinals needed. Got a .89 ERA, 4-1 record, 38 Ks. Faced the Mets 2 starts ago that was in Citi Field, which is a massive pitcher's park, but he's been good. Look at this, 20 plus fantasy points every single game. There's a reason he's at 10,800. He had 29.3 against them. The problem is that is a massive ballpark. He had 9 strikeouts in that game. Not saying he's going to get that here, but I don't mind Sonny Gray. He is expensive. That is true. Quintana, on the other hand, 6,600. He faced this team 2 starts ago. Did well, 19.6 there. You could look at that. He went 8 innings against St. Louis there. 1 earned run, only 3 Ks. So the strikeouts have been low for Quintana. He goes a 5.20 ERA, and normally Cardinals hit well. And if you look at the BVP, the top BVP today is Goldschmidt versus Quintana. 546 batting average, 12 for 22, 6 singles, 3 doubles, 3 home runs, 2 walks, and only 2 strikeouts. Obviously, those are great numbers. And people have asked, what are you looking for with BVP? I'm looking for probably, if I'm going to base it, I'm looking at least 20 plate appearances against said pitcher. So we look at that. Goldie at the top there. And that's really the only one that jumps out. Arenado makes sense a little bit too. If we're looking at other bats for the Cardinals, Burleson. So Wilson Contreras is out for extended weeks. He broke his forearm. Yesterday. So he is out. So that'll jump up Ivan Herrera as a very cheap catching option. You could look at him. Brendan Donovan makes sense here. Lars Nootbaar, I don't mind. Arenado, another one. Jose Furman, maybe, if you're going with a Cardinals stack overall against Quintana. Up to you. So, love Sonny Gray. I think he's cash or tournaments. You could look at Quintana if you're going to go that route, because he just faced them last time, had probably his best start of the year. But Paul Goldschmidt, if you want to look for some bats, as the best BVP matchup of the day. Brewers at the Royals. You got Joe Ross versus Brady Singer. Really haven't seen each other at all. This is a pitcher's park in Kansas City. The weather looks to be good here, just a little cloudy. Singer is the 4th highest priced pitcher on the slate. So we've got him 2.46 ERA, 42 strikeouts. Against Texas, dominated. 6 innings, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. So you're looking at right around minimum floor of about 5 strikeouts. Did have 4 here against the White Sox and Houston. But other than that, he's been solid all year. It's a pitcher's park. I love him. I love Brady Singer here. Joe Ross, he's the 2nd lowest priced pitcher on the slate. 4.65 ERA. Did have a good start against Chicago. 6 innings there, 4 Ks. Got dominated by the Yankees for 7 runs. 6 of them earned, 2.1 fantasy points. Has not faced Kansas City this year. Pitching on the road, he's got a 2.04 ERA. It is a pitcher's park, but he has not faced this Kansas City team who have been hitting all year. If you're not going with either pitcher, and if say you're not going with Singer and you want to look at Brewers bats, Contreras, Oliver Dunn, Willie Adames, Rhys Hoskins, but I am not going to go with Brewers bats. I'm going to go with Brady Singer and Kansas City bats, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia. Those would be my main ones. Michael Massey, I love to use Michael Massey, still underutilized and cheaper than he should be. And he's got home run power as well. Another one, MJ Melendez. Maybe a little bit of Nelson Velasquez if he starts. So I am all in on a Kansas City stack. I am all in on Brady Singer. I don't want Joe Ross, and I'm probably not going to be using any Milwaukee bats. Padres at the Cubs. Dylan Cease versus Hayden Wesneski. Cease, 55 plate appearances, .087. I love Cease here. I know the Cubs have been hitting very well, but I'm siding with Cease. None of the bats jump out to me right now. If you want to be contrarian and not go Cease and you want to go against him, Chris Morel and Cody Bellinger would be the 2 that I'd look at. But I am looking at Cease. We don't need to dig into the numbers. He's been fantastic all year. The Padres got Luis Ariz, who sat yesterday. I don't know if he's sick or he just got a day off. But yeah, I would go Cease. None of the bats jump out to me right now, so I'm just going pitching at the moment. So, yeah, that's that game right there. Now we get the Marlins at the Dodgers. You got Ryan Weathers versus Gavin Stone. Weathers, 53 plate appearances, 122 batting average. We look at Ryan Weathers, lowest priced guy at $6,000, 4.54 ERA. Coming off an okay start against Oakland, but he still gave up 3 earned runs there and 5 Ks. Has not faced the Dodgers this year. Pitching on the road, better ERA on the road. I am stacking the Dodgers. Mookie, Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Freeman, Andy Pages, I believe. Thank you for whoever corrected me 2 videos ago, I think. I would look at them. Kike Hernandez is another one. I mean, we're looking at these righties here. I do not trust Ryan Weathers. If you want to be contrarian because he has had mild success against the Dodgers team, you could throw him in there because he's the lowest. He's going to be the lowest priced guy. If you play in a entry of 150 or more, you could definitely see his ownership because people need to, you got 150 lineups to play. So you could definitely see him being used. Again, though, I'd rather focus on the Dodgers. And then Gavin Stone, just depending on what we're going to get out of him. His price at $7,400, 2.98 ERA. It's actually done decent the past 2 games against Atlanta and Toronto. Has not faced Miami this year. I don't mind Gavin Stone at $7,400. Middle of the road here, under 8K. Always a good sweet spot for your pitcher. I did see comment on the other video saying need to focus on some FanDuel as well in these videos. So DraftKings are just easier, but if you want to see FanDuel content, we have that on the website. That is in the MLB. We have both FanDuel and DraftKings. We don't just focus on DraftKings. So our player projections are on both sites. Our models are on both sites. The cheat sheet has plays for both sites. So the cheat sheet has pitcher, catcher, first, second, third, shortstop, and outfield. We have about 6 to 7 plays at each position for cash, and then about 12 to 14 plays for tournaments, or for outfielders for cash. Same thing with tournaments. So GPP plays, we've got those there for each position. We also have stacks. These are both utilized for FanDuel and DraftKings. I just like the layout, the breakdown of everything on DraftKings. That's why these videos are there. We don't just mainly focus on DraftKings. We have both. I wanted to bring that up. If you guys have been wondering about FTA Plus, you can go check that out. And good luck there. So I'll take some Gavin Stone. I will take the Dodgers bats against Ryan Weathers. If I make 20 plus lineups today, I'll throw Ryan Weathers in one of them just in case, but I don't feel good about his matchup here in LA against the Dodgers. Then we get the Rangers at the Athletics. We've got Michael Lorenzen versus JP Sears. Lorenzen, 34 plate appearances, a 156 batting average, and then JP Sears, 99 plate appearances, 216 batting average out of him there. While we dig into the numbers a little bit, JP Sears down at 6,800, 389 ERA. We did use him against Miami his last start. 6.1 innings, 6 Ks, 27.3 fantasy points at 6,100. They have jumped his price up a little bit. I don't know why his price was 6,600 against Baltimore, and then they dropped him 500 against Miami. Does not make any sense at all. But I love what he brings to the table. He faced Texas back on April 11th. 6.1 innings, 5 Ks, 25.9 fantasy points. I do not mind him here because this is in Oakland. This is a pitcher's park. But Texas is a great team. They just were off against him his last start, and now he's got a better matchup because he's pitching at home. 6,800 is also a fantastic price. Allows you to really go anywhere. Like if you went with like a JP Sears and Soriano at these two prices, you can average 4,500 the rest of the way. And like if you went with like Ivan Herrera at 3,300, now you average 4,700. And if you wanted to go, let's say Goldie. Now this is not a lineup I'm going to be building, or maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, you could put him in there if you want to go with the St. Louis stack, Arenado. You're still averaging 4,600. It's really good. Like there's ways to go about it when you're building your lineups. Especially, the sweet spot, staying under 9K for your pitchers, for both of them, makes sense. And you're able to do a lot with this slate. So, Lorenzen, on the other hand, he is right here at 7,600, which it's wild that Lorenzen is that much more. But 3.52 ERA, 17 strikeouts. The strikeouts have been low for Lorenzen. Has not faced Oakland this year. Tournaments I'm okay with because Oakland is Oakland, but they've been putting up some runs this year, which is wild. They have a better record. Oakland, let's see. Double check. Standings. Oakland's in third place, 17 and 20. They are above the Angels, and Houston is in dead last at 12 and 23, which is hilarious and wild to me. Oakland's been putting up runs. I mean, it's crazy. They've lost the last 3. I understand that. So if you're not taking either pitcher, Adolis Garcia normally just smashes lefties. Jonah Heim had another home run yesterday. Picked him up in my season long. Marcus Semien normally hits lefties well, and so does Corey Seager. Those are the ones I'm looking at. Evan Carter might be another one. Ezekiel Duran, depending on who's in this lineup. I will have exposure to JP Sears in some lineups. Again, I make multiple lineups. That is how you become a better DFS player. You can't just play one lineup and that's it. So I will have exposure to both sides. I will have a Texas stack, but I'll also have a JP Sears stack because it is a pitcher's park, and he had success against this team about right around a month ago. And on the other hand, if you think Michael Lorenzen's not going to have a good game and you want to look at Oakland bats, Brett Rooker, J.D. Davis, Shea Langeliers, Tyler Nevin, Seth Brown are one. Esteury Ruiz, if he can get on, he's stolen bases all the time. Those are the bats I'd look at in this game. I will focus mainly on Sears, but I will have exposure to both sides here. And then this is another one that we can't play. this is the call up here. So they have a doubleheader, which is not one we can play. Then we come here. That is the early slate. So the early slate is done. We are done with the early slate. Done with the early slate, bats and pitchers. We will move on to this is considered the main slate here. Arizona at Cincinnati. We do have weather concerns here in Cincinnati, and we've got Jordan Montgomery versus Graham Ashcraft. Montgomery 65 plate appearances, 262. Ashcraft 40 plate appearances, 237. While Montgomery has been up and down, he's 7,700, 5.63 ERA. So came off strong against San Francisco. Obviously didn't have spring training, came in late, had a great start. St. Louis, middle of the road there, 3 earned runs in 7 innings, only 4 strikeouts. And then the Dodgers, we did stack the Dodgers against him. It worked out very well for us that day. Gave up 6 earned runs in 3 innings, 63 pitches they pulled him. This is Great American Small Park. The balls fly out of this ballpark here. I don't think I can trust Montgomery enough. He didn't get a spring training. He had a really good start, and people were all over him. I'm still focusing on some bats in this one. And then Ashcraft, 8,300. Outside of against the Angels, he's been pretty decent. 3.64 ERA, 30 strikeouts there. Splits-wise, home games, 8.44 ERA. I'm probably not using either of these pitchers. I'm probably looking at the bats in this one because I do not trust... I don't think I can trust them enough. Ketel Marte in this lineup here. Jock Peterson, Christian Walker, Eugenio Suarez back at his old stomping grounds, like I said yesterday. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Corbin Carroll had a fantastic day yesterday with a home run. Maybe he breaks out of his slump. Maybe this is the ballpark that he needed. Taking bats against Montgomery. Love Tyler Stevenson against a lefty any given day. Ellie De La Cruz, Spencer Steer, Will Benson. Christian Encarnacio Strand normally against lefties. He's kind of had a downish year compared to what we're used to. Those are the ones I'm looking at. You could look at Jonathan India as well, just depending. But I'm probably not going to be using these pitchers. Again, weather's also a concern. You don't want to put those pitchers in there. Then, they start, then they delay, and then they're out. So I would rather focus on the bats that we talked about here. Next game, Orioles at the Nationals. You got Kyle Bradish versus Mitchell Parker. Bradish's second start. Yeah, he came back off the IL against the Yankees. They won that game 7-2. 4.2 innings, 1 earned run, 5 Ks. Don't really have much going other than that for him, but he's got a good matchup here against Washington. We don't have a baseline of what he's going to do, though. That's the problem. Mitchell Parker, on the other hand, is actually more expensive by $100. Been pretty good. Had one bad game against Miami, good game against the Dodgers, middle game against the Rangers. He was 8,700. They've dropped him down a little bit, but again, tournaments I'm okay with him. But again, we know that Baltimore hits very well. They're a good team on paper and on the field. They're in first place. That would be Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westberg, Ryan O'Hearn, Ryan Mountcastle, Adley Rutschman. I would look at maybe Jorge Mateo if he gets in there for a cheaper option, or Heston Kjerstad, who did not play yesterday, would be another one. If you think Bradish is going to not do so well and you want to look at some Nationals bats, Luis Garcia, Jesse Winker, Joey Meneses, CJ Abrams is a stud, Nick Senzel, Trey Lipscomb. These are the ones that I would look at for the Nats if you don't believe in Kyle Bradish in this game. So weather is not a concern there. So, next game. White Sox at the Rays. You got Chris Flexen versus Aaron Savale. Again, we have taken pitchers against the White Sox every single day, and it's worked out the majority of the games. There's been a couple that it hasn't, but Savale, 83 plate appearances, 325. Looks bad, but let's see if it's like one or two players. Nicky Lopez is 4 for 16. That's 250. Benintendi's 4 for 11 with 2 home runs. That's 364. Robbie Grossman, 3 for 11 with a home run. You do have Eloy, 7 for 16 with a double and 2 home runs. That's 438. These numbers jump up. And honestly, if I were to use any bats again for the White Sox, it would be Eloy and it would be Andrew Vaughn. Maybe a little bit of Andrew Benintendi, but I doubt it. We do look at Savale here. We dig in. He is 8,800 because of this matchup. He does have a 6.14 ERA, though. He's had 3 bad starts in a row. Just faced this White Sox team. And this is one. So I said the majority we use him. Yeah. 4.1 innings, 6 earned runs, only 3 strikeouts. Honestly, I'm probably not going Savale today. He's too expensive. He's got a 6.14 ERA. I would look at, I think, sneaky White Sox, some of the bats, depending on the lineup that comes out, the ones I mentioned, and then we might be able to find maybe Tommy Pham, use maybe a little bit of Nicky Lopez. I don't know. We'll see the lineup that comes out for them. Again, it's a game tonight, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer for the lineups to come out. So I'm probably avoiding Savale. Did Chris Flexen just pitch against them too? 5,800 game log wise. Yeah, he did. He actually had a pretty good game. They won 9-4, 5 innings, 0 earned runs, 2 Ks. Obviously, you'd love to see more than that. But at 5,800, Tampa Bay's been bad this year. 5,800, I do not mind Chris Flexen, which is wild because if we didn't dig into the numbers, I would have said Savale against the White Sox. We're going to reverse it and flip it. Flexen for tournaments, I'm okay with. Chicago White Sox bats for tournaments, I'm okay with. I do not like Savale today. I do not like Tampa Bay bats. We've got the Astros at the Yankees. You got Spencer Arrighetti versus Carlos Rodon. Rodon coming off arguably his worst start of the year. He's a Astros killer. Usually 91 plate appearances, 263 batting average, only 18.7 K percentage. So a lower K percentage, but I'm okay with that. So let's look at these. You got Aaron Getty or Spaghetti or whatever you call him, whatever you want to call him. He's 6,300. He's got an 8.27 ERA. It's so wild to see how bad I don't understand how bad these Astros are this year. Like, a lot of things aren't making sense. But the problem with the Astros, they're digging themselves into holes because their pitching has been so bad all year. So the Yankees have won 5 straight against them. They swept them to start the season in Houston. No one was expecting it. And it's just been downhill ever since for the Astros. Arrighetti here, pretty good game against Cleveland. Not a good game against Chicago. Not really a good game against Atlanta. And then the reason his ERA is so high, he went 3 innings against Kansas City, 7 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. So the strikeouts have been low from the first 2 games. They've been pretty good the last 2 games. We do know the Yankees can strike out, but the way they've been hitting lately and the way they've just gelled together, especially against this Astros team, they had 3 home runs yesterday. Volpe, Stanton, and who was the other one? Verdugo to start the. So I was all over Luis Gil yesterday. I had people ask me on Twitter. I had people ask me on Discord who would be a GPP pitcher, and I said Luis Gil. Then I saw that he gave up a home run in the first inning. I'm like, great, here we go. And that was it. He had a 1-hitter. The Astros put up 1 run in the first, and then they put up 2 more runs in the 9th inning off the bullpen. Michael Tonkin is bad. But yeah, Arrighetti, 8.27 ERA, 0-3 record, 21 strikeouts. He could get 5 or 6 strikeouts in this game, but I'd rather focus on the bats for the Yankees. Judge has been coming on strong. Stanton has been actually hitting pretty damn well. You've got Volpe, who's kind of started off hot, went down, now kind of turning it back on. Verdugo is a dog. We know this. Rizzo has been heating up. Oswaldo Cabrera could be in this lineup too. There is a lot to like about this Yankees team. Just kind of looking at some of these other bats. Soto, obviously, I don't think, if you have a Yankee stack, Soto has to be in that lineup. Soto, Judge, Stanton, those are my 3. If Austin Wells is in there for catching, I like him, or Trevino, whoever it is, depending on the catcher, I don't mind them at all. Gleyber Torres has been like that, I don't know what's going on with him. It's a contract year. Usually contract years, hitters hit very well. He has been struggling. I don't think Trent Grisham's going to be in there. I don't think Jermichael Jones. I don't think John Birdie's going to be in there. So looking at these, I love a Yankee stack. Depending on the lineup that comes out, I love the 3 top guys in this chart. That is for sure. Then Carlos Rodon is another one. So coming off his worst start, we know that. We've talked about that. 3.19 ERA. It did bump his ERA, but you can see he's had 2 bad starts. Well, he didn't do well to start the season against Arizona or against Houston. 4.1 innings, but only gave up 1 earned run, but only 11 fantasy points. He's come on strong outside of Baltimore, so he did give up 6 earned runs in 4 innings, but had 6 strikeouts as well. 3 fantasy points was not enough. Really good game against Milwaukee, good game against Oakland, not a good game against Toronto, good game against Miami. In theory, he's had success against this Astros team, and he's had mild success this year. Tournaments, I'm okay with him. I don't think I trust him enough in cash yet because he just has not shown me what I need to see. But in tournaments or sports betting, I will take him for like 5+ strikeouts today. Looking at that, the Astros bats that normally hit lefties well, Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez both absolutely crush lefties. Jose Altuve normally crushes lefties. Those are Jeremy Pena. Those are the 4 bats. If I were to take Astros bats, those would be the 4 that I'd take. I'd rather focus on Yankees as a stack. I'll have Carlos Rodon as tournaments. I will have 0 exposure to Spencer Arrighetti. And if you don't trust Rodon, those bats are the ones that I would look at for the Astros. Next game, Red Sox at the Braves. Pivetta coming off the IL versus Chris Sale. Sale facing one of his former teams. He's actually had success this year. Does have a 3.44 ERA, but 42 strikeouts. Has not faced Boston this year. He's pitched 3 at home, 3 on the road. He's been better at home with a 2.79 ERA. And the Red Sox, they kind of stink this year. Game log wise, coming off 3 straight good starts, not really good in Miami. So he's only had basically 1 mediocre start against Miami where he did give up 5 earned runs. I would still focus on the Braves bats, and I would still focus. It's wild that Pavetta's coming off the AL at 8,700. Dude has not pitched since April 3rd. It's been over a month. He had 2 really good starts there. And he had an elbow problem. So yeah, I don't understand. He has been off for a while, and now his price is up there. I'm probably focusing on Chris Sale and the Braves bats, but if you think Sale's going to have, a bad time today, we could look at what Boston bats. Obviously, Tyler O'Neill against him is one I would look at. Rafael Devers is another one I would look at. Connor Wong, if he's in there, I know he did not start yesterday. He's another one that I would look at. Obviously, the Braves bats, I'd look at Matt Olson, Ozuna, Acuna, who, if he gets on, is probably going to steal a couple bases today. Darno, Austin Riley. These are the ones that I would look at. Ozzie Albies maybe a little bit too. So I'm probably focusing on Chris Sale and the Braves bats, but if you think Sale is going to be off, I think Tyler O'Neill has to anchor that Boston stack if you're making a Boston stack today. Next game, Mariners at the Twins. You got George Kirby versus Chris Paddack. Kirby, 41 plate appearances, 300 batting average. Chris Paddack, 24 plate appearances, 190. So, a couple of starts for Kirby, and then basically 1 start for Paddack against this Mariners team. So we take a look. Kirby is the 2nd highest priced pitcher on this main slate. A huge game against Arizona with 12 strikeouts, 42 fantasy points. We had him that game, which dominated for us. He has not faced Minnesota this year. He is pitching on the road where he has a little bit worse ERA. It just depends on the Minnesota team that comes out, but I do like George Kirby here with a 3.29 ERA. Then we got Chris Paddack. Got 6,500, 4.78 ERA, coming off a great start against Boston, but then a bad start against the Angels, a really good start against the White Sox, but it's the White Sox. Very bad against Baltimore, mediocre against the Dodgers, and bad against Milwaukee. Been very inconsistent this year. I'll probably have 0 exposure to Chris Paddack. I would look at the bats. I will have a little bit of George Kirby, but I kind of feel like the bats more than the pitching. Cal Raleigh, big dumper. Love Cal Raleigh today. J-Rod, Ty France, Dylan Moore, Josh Rojas. These are ones that I would look at. Twins, if you think Kirby's not going to be the best, Kirilloff, Santana, Edward, Max Kepler, Willie Castro would be ones that I'd look at. But I'm probably focused on Kirby and the Mariners bats over Paddack and the Twins bats. Then the final game on the slate, you got Jordan Hicks versus Pete Lambert. The problem, it's in Coors Field. So Hicks, Hicksy boy, right here, 6,800, 1.9 ERA, has not faced Colorado this year. We used him against Philly, was a little bit concerned about that. It didn't work out for us, 6.2. We used him against Pittsburgh, did well. Arizona, not so good, and a couple of great, start off the season very well. Colorado is a very bad team. The problem is Coors Field is a problem, but at 6,800, Jordan Hicks, I do not mind him. Would love to see 6+ innings out of him. Would love to see 5 to 8 strikeouts out of him. Colorado is a very bad team. So in this game, I would focus on Jordan Hicks, and I would look at the San Francisco bats. So you look at Pete Lambert. We look at Lambert here. He's the 5,300, 5.66 ERA. Has not really had a good game at all. Has not had a good game. Has not faced San Francisco this year, but again, home, almost a 6 ERA. I'm focused on San Francisco bats. Depending on who's the catcher, you could look at Blake Sabol. You could look at Matt Chapman, Lamont Wade Jr., Michael Conforto, Jung Ho Lee, Mike Yastrzemski, basically Jorge Soler, Estrada. Just wait for this lineup to come out. I don't care if you take a stack of the Giants 1 through 5, 5 through 9, 7 through 2. I don't care. I'm looking at a San Francisco stack. I will have exposure to Jordan Hicks, and that's the way the cookie crumbles with this Colorado game. And that's it. That is the breakdown of the early slate. That is the breakdown of the main slate. All 15 games, those were broken down. Now we see who the top 20 bats are. Now, depending on when you watch this, it's probably changed from here. But number 1 today, Mookie Betts. Number 2, Elly De La Cruz. Number 3 is Kyle Tucker. Number 4 is Shohei. 5 is TJ Friedl. 6 is Spencer Steer. 7 is Jose Altuve. 8 is Alex Bregman. 9 is Bobby Witt Jr. Number 10 is Brian Reynolds. 11 is Ketel Marte. 12 is Max Muncy, who hit a home run yesterday. 13 is Aaron Judge. 14, Thairo Estrada. 15, Adolis Garcia. 16, Christian Walker. 17, Christian Encarnacio Strand. 18, Tyler Stevenson. 19, Freddie Freeman. And number 20, we've got Mike Yastrzemski. So, thank you for checking this video out. I know it's a longer video, maybe longer than you're used to, but we break down everything for you. We give you all the talking points, you the bats, we give it all. If you need a little bit more help, you can always go check out the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, sign up for FTA+. Check out everything that we've got under the MLB tab. A lot of people like the chalk. So the chalk, you play cash, you want to play the chalk. You play tournaments, you want to look at the chalk on there, and you want to look at ones that are projected 2.5 to 3 times value for pitching and bats, but also low ownership. So it helps you out with tournament plays as well. We've got prop bets. All of that is included. Go check out a monthly pass, yearly pass, or a lifetime pass for FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So that's what I've got. Good luck today, and come back tomorrow. Be a winner tomorrow as well. So good luck, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!